Alright, so hey everyone, Kevin Handlon here, and you're watching another Frontier video for Magic the Gathering Final Frontier, and today I am on Saheeli Cat. Specifically, I'm on 4-color Saheeli Cat, splashing green. And first hand was not very good, but this hand looks like a keep to me. We can go turn 2 Oath of Nissa, turn 3 Oath of Nissa, or go for a Lightning Strike on whatever creature my opponent plays. And I think we're going to keep it. So let's scry. And I will leave that on top because we intend on leading with the Cinderglade. So we'll just go ahead and put this guy down and pass turn. The reason why I want to play Saheeli right now is because it's a very popular metagame for mid-range at the moment. And so there's a lot of Jund Delirium running around, there's a lot of Abzan, and because of that, Saheeli tends to prey on those kinds of metagames. So we're going to be looking for a cat here, and we got one. Alternatively, I can go for the Jace. But I am of the mind that when you have the combo, you show the combo, and that way your opponent starts doing dumb stuff. So what do I want to do here? I think I will just amass my win con. I think that's my end game, and then we'll bottom Jace and that land. We'll put Felidar Guardian into our hand and play a Flooded Strand and pass. Not a bad start, all things considered. Alright, so my opponent just plays another Blooming Marsh and says go, which is really strange. A lot of times if we'd be seeing Jund Delirium, we'd expect to see like a Satyr Wayfinder there. And if it was Abzan aggro, the 2-drop on turn 2 tends to be pretty vital. Specifically, like we're usually looking for a Smuggler's Copter or a Scrap Heap Scrounger. And we saw neither of those, so I'm going to fetch a blue source. And we are going to shuffle and untap. Alright, cool. So we drew our 4th land, which is very, very good. I like that a lot. My opponent hasn't played a creature, so I think I'm pretty free to just play Saheeli here and run her out. And then if my opponent can't remove her, then I win on turn 4. And otherwise, I've got plenty of backup plan to go. I've got rolling Oath of Nissas, so I can bounce an Oath of Nissa and then play another. It's definitely not the worst. So we'll go ahead and take a look at what's on top. Alright, Windswept Heath, I'll bottom that. And our opponent loses one, and we'll go ahead and chip the turn. So I guess my opponent is relying on me not having, wow, a 3rd Blooming Marsh. That's something. Well, there's no removal that my opponent can play right now that would take out my Felidar Guardian. So let's see what happens here. Liliana. Okay, well we win. So I'm just gonna run out my combo, and here we go. My opponent did not reveal much. I should probably draw for turn. I should do that. Alright, so we got another Flooded Strand. I will go ahead and fetch a plains. Yep, my opponent scoops. Doesn't want to wait for the cats. Alright. So what do I want to bring in here? It seems as though my opponent is playing a mid-range deck, signaling with green and black. So I kind of want to bring in a Shaper's Sanctuary, because I think that they'll be bringing in more interaction for my cats. And that might be about it. Maybe a Glory Bringer. Yeah, so I think I side in. We'll see what they decide to do, but I'll side in place of my 3 Fumigates. I'll side in a Shaper's Sanctuary and 2 Glory Bringers. Alright, so here we go. Cool. I actually really like this hand. Yeah, I'll definitely keep mine as well. Alright, so it appears my opponent's on Jund Delirium, which is pretty okay. I'm not too worried about that at all. So I think I'm looking at right now turn 2 Lightning Strike, turn 3 Renegade Rallier, get another land, ramp up to Glory Bringer, kill whatever their big threat is. I don't really have any graveyard hate in this deck right now because my plan against Jund is just to race them. So, Satyr Wayfinder, Walking Ballista. Interesting. Alright, well that definitely incentivizes us to remove it. And that is what we will do. The most interesting thing is that my opponent hasn't played a fetch land yet, which is really curious. It's going to look really boring, but I'm just going to grab a Prairie Stream here. Alright, so signifying that we're bringing this in tapped, and then we'll draw for turn. Cool, so I've got a couple options here. I can either play Jace, or I can Lightning Strike this Walking Ballista. I kind of like the Jace plan, because it gives me more options for things to hit off of my Renegade Rallier. But I think this Walking Ballista just constantly threatens my combo. So I kind of want to remove it. Gosh, what to do? Okay. I think I'll just get this Walking Ballista off the board while I have an opportunity to do so. And then we'll see where it goes from there. So I'll take 1 here from the Walking Ballista. And we'll see what my opponent decides to do. So we're giving my opponent 2 Delirium counters. I'll keep count of that. But other than that, I mean, we're possibly looking at like a Liliana tick down on this next turn, but I have plenty of answers for Liliana right now. That's not what I'm worried about. So I'm definitely the faster race against Liliana. So I'm playing Jund Delirium in the Untap Open League right now, and so even when my opponent isn't keeping track of their own Delirium, it behooves me to do so, because if I'm not, then I can take an Mrackle a turn early, and then that's really, really unfortunate for me. So we're not going to do that. Oh, our opponent misses a land drop, so that's pretty good. Probably leaving up some interaction for Saheeli. But I think now that I have a chance to, I'm just going to play a Saheeli and tick up. Because that would truly punish my opponent for stumbling. So we'll go ahead and play Saheeli. And it's really interesting that I'm playing against Jund Delirium right now, because this is exactly the kind of deck that I want to be playing against with Cat. So, yeah, just interesting. That's all I got to say about that. We'll bottom our Renegade Rally, or we've already got one. And pass turn. So I think next turn, if my opponent plays a threat, then I'll probably just tick up again. But I think regardless, my game plan is to... Oh, okay, so my opponent plays a Walking Ballista. Okay. Got it. And still no land. Okay, so I think my game plan is... I'm gonna play a Windswept Heath and fetch a Prairie Stream. And then I will play a Renegade Rallier and get the Windswept Heath back out of my graveyard, and then fetch a Cinderglade and play Jace. And then I'll tick up so that my opponent can't kill me. Normally I would get pretty aggressive here, but there's really no need. I'm establishing such a strong board presence, and I'm setting up a Glorybringer for next turn. So being able to tick down on a Glorybringer is kind of the best thing you can do with this deck. So we'll go for it. And my opponent really doesn't have a way to tick up his Walking Ballista, so he's really just preying on me, leaving myself at a certain loyalty count. And I'm not going to give it to him. So here comes our Cinderglade. And we'll go ahead and play a Jace. I will shuffle, and then we will scry. And, you know, I've got another Glorybringer. I'll just bottom that. If I need it, it'll come back to me. And I can always Nissa back my existing Glorybringer. Alright, well, my opponent did get another land, albeit tapped. And yeah, so this next turn's gonna be brutal. Absolutely brutal. Okay, what you got, homie? What you got? Okay, so going for the brutes and discarding something. I have to clarify modes. Sure. I'll reveal my hand. All right. Well, here comes a turn. Cool. So I think I am just going to play Wooded Foothills and probably not fetch this turn. And I'll get a Canopy Vista on my next upkeep. And we will go ahead and play a Glorybringer. And then clone the Glorybringer. And exert the clone and swing for 11. That's fine. That is perfectly fine. Alright, so my opponent is at 7. And here goes my clone. So I have lethal on board, and I have a backup Saheeli in my hand. And I'm representing 7 mana next turn, so if I do get combo, I win. And if I don't get combo, pretty sure I still win. So we'll see how this goes. And my opponent has 4 card types in graveyard. Yep, alright, good game. Cool. So everyone, this has been 4-color Saheeli in Frontier. I'm Kevin Handlon, and you are watching Magic the Gathering Final Frontier. You can find us at MTG Final Frontier on Twitter and MTG Final Frontier on YouTube, and we are on twitch.tv at MTG_final_frontier. I run the Untap Open League. My name is Kevin Handlon. I go by Skyburial, and thank you for watching. And all the links to our content will be in the description.